When you think about air pollution in our cities, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably giant smokestacks, right? But what if I told you that some of the biggest sources are actually much, much closer to home? Let's get into it.
So, it all comes down to this one question. Who is really responsible for the air we breathe? It seems simple, but the answer, well, it forces us to look right in the mirror and think about the part we all play.
And yeah, of course, our first instinct is to point fingers at the big guys. Faraway factories, massive farms, government policies. These are definitely huge contributors. It's an easy story to tell ourselves, but it's not the whole story.
What if the real story of our air is actually being written, bit by bit, in our everyday routines? I'm talking about the small, almost invisible choices we make from the moment we wake up. Let's take a walk through a typical day.
First up, the morning drive. That simple trip to work or school holds a pretty surprising secret about the air in our cities.
So, our roads are looking different these days. The SUV, which was designed for rugged off-road adventures, has somehow found its new home in the urban jungle. And this isn't just a passing trend, it's a major lifestyle shift with some very real consequences.
So who's making this choice? You might be surprised. Get this. A massive 41.4% of SUV buyers are under the age of 25. This whole trend is being pushed by the youngest generation of drivers. So what's going on here?
Well, it's not what you think. It's not about showing off or making a big statement. Just look at the data. The number one reason people pick an SUV? A reasonable price. Number two? Good mileage. A bold exterior design is way down at the bottom. These are totally practical, rational decisions that just happen to have the unintended consequence of putting bigger, heavier vehicles on our already crowded city streets. All right, let's fast forward to midday. We're now living in the age of now. Anything we want delivered to our doorstep in minutes. But all this amazing convenience, it has a hidden price tag. 10 minutes, that's the magic number, isn't it? The incredible promise of ultra-fast delivery that has totally changed the game in cities across India. It honestly feels like magic. But here's the part of the magic trick you don't see. Last-mile deliveries in India, that final frantic sprint to your door, they produce about 40% more CO2 emissions than the global average. That incredible speed has a very real and very high carbon cost. And here's exactly how our clicks fuel those emissions. When we place a bunch of small, separate orders, delivery trucks often head out half empty, making these super inefficient trips and just burning more fuel. But check out the difference. Just by grouping those orders into one weekly delivery, we could slash those emissions by up to 56%. The choice between instant and intentional is huge.
Okay, as the day winds down, our evening routines, and especially our celebrations, add a whole other layer to our collective footprint.
You know that sound? The power goes out, and a moment later you hear that deep, familiar rumble of a diesel generator kicking in. It keeps our lights on for sure, but it also immediately starts pumping harmful pollutants into the air, right where we live and breathe, spiking local pollution by over 30%. And celebrations are such a vital part of our culture. But how we celebrate can have a massive impact. Just take a look at Diwali. The fireworks cause PM 2.5 levels to just skyrocket, as you can see here, pushing air quality from moderate to literally hazardous in just a matter of hours. These aren't just numbers. This is a serious health risk. Now let's talk about another kind of celebration, the wedding. This number is just wow. A single wedding with about 500 guests can create up to 700 kilograms of food waste. That's from just one event. And when you zoom out, the picture gets even crazier. 10 million weddings a year adds up to 5 million tons of waste. And here's the kicker. 80% of it is non-biodegradable. That's stuff that will just sit in a landfill for hundreds of years. So, from our morning commute to our evening parties, we've seen how all these individual choices start to add up. And this brings us to the heart of the matter, a very common and very powerful mindset. We've all had this thought, haven't we? It's just one little thing. In the moment, a single action feels completely insignificant. It's a totally understandable way to think, but it's also a powerful illusion. This is what you'd call the fallacy of one. It's this simple belief that my one little action doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But here's the truth. A city's air quality isn't determined by a single factory. It's the direct result of millions of us thinking it's just one. So, how do we fix this?
It's not about guilt. It's not about making huge sacrifices. It's just about a simple shift in our awareness. It's about moving from instant to intentional, from a solo trip to a shared ride, from wanting more to being mindful, and from choosing disposable to investing in durable.
At the end of the day, the air we breathe is a shared space and a shared responsibility. It's not just being created in government offices or on factory floors. It's being created on our roads, in our homes, and by our daily choices. The quality of our air is literally the sum of our habits.